5 ways for athletes to rest and recover to avoid burnout. Hello, everyone. My name is Coach Furtado, and welcome to the Coach's Corner edition of the Bridging Impact podcast, where every Friday I share what is going on in the coaching world, what I am learning as a young coach and an entrepreneur. So let's dive right in there. I talked about rest and recovery, and the reason I want to talk about rest and recovery is because it's something that I need a lot of work on, and I preach playing the long game, not doing short-term wins. Well, I sometimes catch myself playing for short-term wins because of my obsession and drive for, success, which is a big reason why I am where I am. I'm over 100 episodes deep on the Bridging Impact podcast, almost have 70 podcast interview episodes released. So that's a lot of things that it's playing into my favor. I have group training that's starting to take off. People want to train with me from already, from 5 years old to the varsity level, right? But I got to slow down, right? I can't do it all in 1 week, in 1 month, even in a year, right? A lot of the things that I want to do take a lot of time and patience, and we need to have rest and recovery into our daily routines, into our weekly routines, our monthly routines, and especially, right, quarterly and yearly. Obviously not necessarily routines, but we want to play the long game. And if we want to play the long game, right, I'm going to share a story yesterday. Wednesday, I was feeling horrible. I was feeling tired, exhausted. My body was just out of it. I'm doing a jumping program. I'm trying to dunk. And that's like one of the things that I'm doing for my physical activity right now. I've been pretty aggressive with my just play, right? I've either lifted or played basketball every single day for like the past 10 to 12 days. And some days doing double days, and it's starting to catch up for my body. My body is tired. The other thing is, as a coach, right, I'm on my feet too. So even though it's not summer camp season, I am in this office a little bit more, and it looks pretty sweet if you're watching on YouTube, huh? So, my body's a little bit more tired than it's been. And I just, yesterday I had to sleep in and had a slower day. I did do a little bit of work, but I have kind of been full pedal to the metal for the past 10 to 12 days. And I believe that rest is really important. And I'm a person that when I get really excited about something, I don't want to rest. I just want to keep going. And I know that I work with a lot of athletes that are the similar way. I watch a lot of athletes who have tournaments every single weekend, who train almost every single day, do their strength and conditioning, and are very committed. And I love it. I love working with those types of athletes. But I actually remember, when I was training back in between my junior and senior year, I can remember I believe it was like, kind of a hamstring issue. And it was just a little bit of tendonitis because I was training 4 to 6 hours a day. It's just a lot, right? And our bodies can handle quite a bit when we're younger, especially. And I feel like I'm in my prime, which is where I can kind of get away with some of, how much I'm playing. But at the end of the day, right, if I'm not giving my body a day to recover or doing proper recovery exercises, that is what's really it's gonna catch up to me, like it caught up to me yesterday. And it feels like when, like, I'll use myself, right? It feels like when I can work from 7 to 8 at night, right? Like I'm getting a bunch of stuff done, but then I'll have a day like yesterday where, I really only get to do 2, 3, 4 hours of work in, because, I got to let my body recover, where in reality, it's if I didn't work these 12, 13-hour days, if I maybe just worked 8 or 9, give myself a little bit more time to rest, I can be a little bit more consistent over time. So what are the 5 ways to rest and recover anywhere, right? Because I can give you a ton of different things where, you may need a gym membership, but I'm going to give you 5 different methods that you can do anywhere, because I think it's really important to be able to give people resources that, you'll be able to actually use. I'm not going to say, hey, you need to go to Equinox and be in their sauna because it's great, right? No, I'm not going to do that. But it's kind of interesting. The number one rest and recovery method that I've actually read, honestly, between like PJF Performance, a ton of other doctors, right? I'm actually going to reference this book. It's called Together by Dr. Vivek H. Murthy. The Healing Power of Human Connection in a Sometimes Lonely World. Our number one, actually, our number one way to rest and recover is be with people. Spend time with people, spend time with family, friends, significant others, whoever, because we're social creatures. It doesn't matter whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. Introverts, they value spending time with, people that are closer to them. They don't want to be in a big, party, but they are social creatures at the end of the day. Obviously maybe you need some alone time, and that's important too. And we'll probably get to that. But what is most important is you need to connect with people. You need to have fun. If having fun for you looks like, maybe potentially by yourself, but when you connect with people and have fun, like, and stop thinking about, let's say, stop thinking about basketball, stop thinking about business, stop thinking about YouTube, stop thinking about the podcast. That's an opportunity for us to reset and really connect with people. And that's something that's actually really great for our recovery. Number two is finding a hobby outside of sport. And so this is kind of an interesting one for me. And it's something that I'm thinking about specifically because yesterday I had the opportunity. I went to the beach, and, for those that have known me for a while and know where I'm from. So I'm originally from way up Northern California, tucked into the redwoods, the coast. It's beautiful. I love where I grew up. And then I went to University of Oregon. I love Eugene, Oregon. Both places have special places in my heart. Both are very nature heavy, communities. And so that was something that was a really important part of my life. And I don't really spend as much time in nature as I did, before, now that I'm here in LA and I'm working 6-7 days a week. So that's something that I want to continue to prioritize in having a hobby outside of sport, because I play basketball for fun. But at the end of the day, like, I compete like I'm not playing for fun sometimes. Like, and I'll just be straight up real. And I talk a little bit of mess, for those that are following me. I got my tooth knocked out last weekend. And I think, those are just good reminders to have fun with it a little bit too. Just have fun with the process, have fun with the game. At the end of the day, like, I'm not playing for the NBA finals. And to be honest, I'm not coaching for the NBA finals. So just to have fun with it. But for me, like, I think it's really important for you all to find a hobby outside of sport, just because it gives our mind off of, what we do, right? Our craft, because I'm always thinking, like, when I'm playing basketball, I'm thinking about different drills and stuff I can do for my athletes. So if I can find something, that I can think of outside. So I really like watching baseball and football, because that's not like basketball that's my world. That's my job. But if I can watch other sports, that's something that I can connect to and find really fun and also relaxing. If you don't, work in sports and sports are your outlet, that's great. You just need a hobby that's outside of what you do for work. And if you're an athlete, your work is your sport. So number three is, obviously something that you probably thought about, especially, for the athletes. This is a big one: stretching and mobility. I actually think mobility and, like, active recovery is more important than, like, sitting in front of the TV and stretching. I think range of motion when it comes to your strength and conditioning is really important. But what I really want you all to focus with this one, and just make sure you have some sort of routine where you're basically letting your muscles recover. You don't want to lift every day. You don't want to hoop every single day. Or if you do hoop every single day, maybe it's form shooting is your off day. You don't want to be going intense, push, push, push every single day. You're not going to give your body an opportunity to recover. So you need to find some sort of mobility and or stretch routine. I'm not a big fan, actually, of encouraging people to stretch, but finding a mobility routine that, as some sort of dynamic warm up, just gets your body flowing and moving. Because actually, one of the worst things that you can do is if you have, like, a heavy day on, let's say, a Wednesday, and then you do nothing on Thursday, it's actually really horrible for your recovery. You want to do some sort of active, light, dynamic mobility workouts. And I can link something below if you are curious about that. Number four, this is something that's personal for me, but, may not fit for you, but read and write. I think finding an opportunity or something to do outside of looking at your screen is really important. I'm a big fan of reading, even though I haven't been reading quite as much, and I also journal quite a bit. So, I get a lot of people asking me, like, how do I even journal? You can just write down your thoughts that you had during the day. It's a skill, right? Journaling is a skill. It's something I've been practicing since my end of my senior year. I think I started before my freshman year of college, and I've been pretty consistent ever since like my junior year of college. I pretty much dang near ran right probably 80%, 85% of the days of the year. So it's something that's very important to me, helps me feel connected to myself. And I can break down, if you're interested, you want to just reach out to me, I can make a video on that more. But just reading and writing, getting off the screens and kind of letting your, mind wander with reading, and also with writing, getting to know yourself a little bit more. And then the last one is, it's very simple, just plain rest, right? Just plain rest. So just, for me, again, you have to know your load, and load as in, right? If I worked really hard on a Wednesday, or I had a tournament, on the weekend, what's your Monday looking like? So that's just something that, are you just sitting on the couch? Are you just, watching? Are you just going to sit at the beach? Like, just rest, do whatever you have to do. I think I always tell my athletes, I'm not a 7 days guy. I think 7 days is how you burn out and how you get injured. But I think 6 days with intentional rest time, right? And rest time could be baked into those days. So let's say I had a hard workout for 2 hours on a Tuesday. I can maybe try and spend like, 30 minutes doing, just watching TV, or, kind of doing some active stretching or something around that to rest from that day, right? And rest and recovery is going to look different for everyone depending on their schedule, right? If you're a professional athlete listening to this, you may have more or less time. If you're a high school athlete, you may have more or less time depending on your class load, workload. You have to kind of design the schedule around for you. But the most important thing is, it has to be in a routine. It doesn't need to always be the same thing. It just has to be. One of the things that James Clear talks about in Atomic Habits is, you need to have something, so to like an environmental cue. So let's say you want to start resting before bed. So when you get home, let's say you put away a book. That putting away the book signals, okay, it's time to do my rest and recovery routine, whatever that looks like. So comment below if you want to collaborate on me helping you, what your rest and recovery routine could look like, because personally I need some work on mine as well. It's a Labor Day weekend if you are watching this day of when I drop it. If not, just make sure that you're really prioritizing rest and recovery, because playing the long game is what's most important in life. And I also think just enjoying life too. It's a journey, it's a process, right? We heard it's like the overused cliche all the time, but you really do miss opportunities when you don't focus on playing the long game, when you play the short game and you burn out. Like, I've done it multiple times before. I just get really excited over something and kind of obsessive. And again, like I'll talk about, it's going to be the reason I am going to be very successful, but it's also could be the reason I could have health problems later down the road. So I need to be very balanced, very diligent, and very meticulous with my rest and recovery, and make sure I implement that and have a little bit of fun, right? You only get one life. So really appreciate you all listening. It's an honor, a joy. Please go leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you subscribe wherever you are, if you're on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. And I will be in your eyes and ears soon. I'll be doing some rebranding coming soon, maybe taking the YouTube channel a little bit seriously. And I got some updates for you all and how you can support my athletes coming soon as well. Coach Furtado out. Peace.